was the star of that one. They
Yeah.
brought Diesel back for their others, but I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. Okay, another question? Oh, yes.
One of my favorite roles that you did was in The Hour of the Bath. You created the character Henry Detweiler, and you were your co-star was Barbara Luna.
Barbara Luna, yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that filming went and how that character came about and
Well, that
how
was
you got
very
that
interesting.
role?
I was doing Laramie at the time, and because of very, very fortunate my popularity in Japan, filtered back, of course, to the studio, and they had this special called The Hour of the Bath they were going to do, and they were going to bring George Schaefer out from New York, a very, very famous live film director and films and television. And so everybody was very excited to get to work with George Schaefer, and they offered me the part, which I jumped for. It was really great, and I knew Barbara anyway, and that would be fun to do. And it was a chance to get away from Laramie and get out and do a really interesting show. So I got the script, and we did a reading around the table, and I had the script for about 2 days, and I knew every single line, everybody's and line. And we did the reading, and George Schaefer never said anything about, change this, do that, do whatever. So I thought, well, that's going to happen on the set. This great director that I'm going to get a chance to work with. Not that my directors on Laramie weren't great. Les Sealander and all those, they were great old Western type directors. They knew what they were doing. They knew their business. Well, I thought this is going to be something different for me. So anyway, we go on the set and we start to shoot the show. It took us 6 or 7 days to shoot it. He never said a word. Every time I said my lines and did it, he said, cut, print, great. And that was the end of it. Never gave me anything. And it was kind of disappointing. I thought, well, I'm really going to get it. I'm going to learn something, from a...
Yeah.
Nothing, never said anything.
You liked what you were doing?
Well, I did it.
Yeah.
I always figured I was doing good if they didn't say something. If they said cut, print, next setup, I done good.
An ex-Marine.
Yeah, but that's pretty normal
no
in
such
business.
thing.
When you're working with somebody like him, you expect something, a light to go on someplace, which I've had directors do that, which I love. Jack Webb was one who actually made me change the way I usually do it and do it better because of him.
But he wanted you to use cue cards originally.
Oh, he did, of course. Julie and Bobby did, but I don't do that. I wouldn't.
And they would do that like on Dragnet and all those.
Oh, yeah. That's why he could shoot three shows in a week.
Except on emergency. Okay, yes.
Alex, are you writing another book?
We'll give up too.
Sorry, I read what Are you going to write another book?
Yes, indeed. I am.
I held a gun to his head.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And also, right now, as we speak, there is a flurry of interest in my first, not my first book, but the one before the current one, Feather and Rain, in Hollywood, about doing a movie of it. And, but the guys there, they all, I know this to be true, that in Hollywood, unless it's, some big bestseller, #1 author, they don't read books. It has to be in a script form. So I am writing the script, the screenplay, for Feather and Rain. And I only started it less than 3 weeks ago, but because I know the story so well, it's going very quickly and I'm more than halfway finished with it. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. I mean, I work on it every day. In fact, I've got to get a new chair for the computer because I am getting butt sore sitting on the chair that I've got. And it's something that my wife got. She's a big physical fitness person, and she takes yoga classes. So she spends a lot of time on the computer. So she said, and I'm always complaining about my back. So she said, I'm going to get this chair out of a catalog from a yoga place. And what it is is a rubber ball. It's that big around. And it fits in a little plastic frame. You just set it in there once you blow it up. And it's got a little back to it. But you sit, when I watch her on the computer, she sits on it and she rolls around. So she's working her hips and her back and everything. And she said, "You've got to try this thing." So I took it for about a day, and I thought, well, you know, it's interesting because it makes you sit straight in because you don't lean back against anything. There isn't. So I said, "Okay, yeah, get me one." So she did, and I threw out this funky old chair that I had. And I have been using that thing for about 6 months. So nobody can say I didn't give it a fair shot. I hate it. It's giving me a sore ass. In the summer, it's rubber, and when I'm in the house, I wear shorts. Well, you can't sit on that thing with shorts because that rubber sticks and you get up and you carry it. It's stuck to your butt. Anyway, I'm getting a new chair for my computer now. I'm finally going to give up on that yoga ball. It's not for me.
Charlie, the back row just filled up with men with badges on. I have a feeling I may be in handcuffs again.
That's a great story, too.
Oh, God, he's
There you go.
I can feel it now.
Of course, I understand there's been several situations when you've been in handcuffs. But anyway, besides that, we were talking about that just last night, about your situation with the police that one time.
Which time?
The time when they kept moving you from jail to jail?
Oh, that was in New York, that time.
Yes. Do you all know that story? No. Would you share that, please? We'd all love to know.
Okay, I was doing Laramie at the time, and I was dating a singer named Keely Smith. Probably you all might know who she is. She was, they still had their team, but she was separated from them. We were going together. And I was sent back to New York to do the Tonight Show, and Keely was in town. And when I do the shows like that, I wore my Laramie outfit, my gun belt, my Colt 45 with full loads, blanks, but full loads. And so Jerry Lewis, it was a Jerry Lewis telethon, and Jerry came up to me around 10 o'clock and he said, "If you want to take a break for a couple of hours, you can take off." So I called Keely and she said, "We'll come pick you up. Let's go see Tony Bennett and have dinner at the Cova." And I said, "Okay." And so I took my gun belt off and I started to give it to a prop man who was there, but it was my own Colt 45 and my gun belt. And I said, "I don't want to trust it. I'll just wear it in New York," which I had done before. So anyway, I had my gun belt on and everything. They picked me up and we pulled up in front of the Copa. And as we stand with her brother, Piggy Smith, a great guy, as we started to walk in, a couple of tough guys, we standing in the street, and they started mouthing off because I had my Western stuff on. And they looked like they wanted to go to the ground a little bit, and so Piggy was ready, and I was too at that point, but the doorman came out, shooed them away, and we went in, we had our dinner, we watched Tony, and as we came out, they were there again. And I had full loads, fully loaded in there, and they started walking toward me. And I said, "Well, this is enough." And I just drew and I fired, bam, 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 just like this. I hit the first guy from about 3 feet away, and he fell right to the ground, thought he was dead. The other one took off running, and I fired 3 times. And all you could hear in the streets of New York at 12 o'clock at night was bam, bam, bam. That's what's going on. Holy mackerel. Before I could put my gun away, the cops were there with precinct, right around the corner. And they arrested me and charged me with assault and act, which is, $20,000, $200,000 fine, 20 years in jail. And they took me to jail. Put me in the Tombs that night with about 50 drunk, drugged up, weird people. I'm standing there in boots and Levi's and the cowboy hat. This isn't good. But anyway, all my friends knew about came to try and get me out, and as soon as they came in the front door, they took me out the back door, took me to another precinct, and that happened 4 times that night. And they called it the round robin, so nobody could get to me to bail me out. And so I had to appear before the judge the next morning, which I did, and they let me go on my own recognizance, but I had to stay in New York and appear before the grand jury. And the grand jury asked me one question: what was the nomenclature of the Colt 45? And I explained it to them, and I changed the story a little bit. I said that my gun went off as I was getting in a taxi cab, and as I was starting to take the gun, and they bought it and they let me go. So that was my first time in jail.
Your first time. First admission.
Hey, Bobby went off 3 times accidentally. Wow.
Well,
A single action. Who knew?
the great thing about it is, I mean, it was headlines in the paper in Los Angeles. Actor from there, arrested, firing gun in New York, and I thought, oh man, when I get back to the studio, Lou Wasserman, my producers, they're going to fire me. They're going to hate this. So I went back with my head down, kind of walked in, and Lou Wasserman came up and he says, "What can you do for the opening of next season?"
Paul, I have so many questions to ask you about your career and stuff, but we need to wrap this one up.
Okay.
I want to talk to you, of course, about your a minor
minor consideration
and things like that.
I promise I won't get on my soapbox.
No, but that's fine. But so much that I want to talk to you about. We'll do that in another session. Hope you're all going to be back for the next one. It's coming up here shortly, and it's the first day of a few, so we'll have a good time.
Good.
Thank you all.